switch into the game itself. Alright, so we are in with the first one, and it is definitely gonna be Nomad, as we are right now looking at Maxi. Definitely not being all that thrilled about the snow in there. Let's just know the fog of war, and it's gonna be, oh yeah, it's a normal Nomad, it's not a land Nomad, and we are already looking at villages moving absolutely everywhere with all the colors of the rainbow in here. And what are, for example, the civilizations in here? That's gonna be Vikings, Persians, and Mayans for the arcs, and for the opponents, that's gonna be Mayans, Vikings, and Persians, so that's the same. Yes, that's the same. Quite curiously, actually, they are missing Chinese, because Chinese are one of the best civilizations for Nomad, especially from what you have seen, for example, from the Jedi Master Z, who had Nomad as a home map for them, and they basically used it kind of exclusively, and they were really good at it. Through the 2 seasons that they participated, they lost about 2 games on Nomad, I think, out of about 20. Really pretty great performance by them, but right about now we are looking at, well, quite a cozy little base right about now by IIDA. IIDA and G-Man are gonna be right next to each other, and they might be potentially stealing each other's resources, which is not really all that ideal. And apparently they're gonna be all 3 right next to each other. Oh well, this is a nice start by them. Definitely quite nice to see that they are cooperating this early, all 3 here, but yeah, as I was talking about it a bit before, just 2 boars in here, that's not really all that great, considering that other boar is quite far away. Interesting straggler. A nice spawn in there. A bit of a berries in here at the bottom. Otherwise, really the food is gonna be a bit of an issue. He definitely has to hope. Right now, Akenodder is gonna be scouting at the bottom. Let's check into his point of view. So far... Oh no, he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't so far scouted all the piggies in there. So he will have to find them a bit later. They definitely will be quite crucial to his game plan. So hopefully he's gonna be encountering them soon enough. Because otherwise you can already see that orange and yellow are taking part from basically their own boars in here. Oh well, that's not really all that great. And potentially it could be leading to a pretty big disaster for them in the later... Oh well, not even later game, in the later early game. So really quite in the first minutes in there. Otherwise, we are right now looking, for example, at Aramis, who is already luring one of the boars. He's having the second and third on the left. Plenty of gold, you can see. 1, 2, 3 big gold mines right next to him. This is definitely a pretty good spot for the grey player, together with the stone and on the gold in there. Definitely looking great for him, especially combined with the fact that he does have quite good access to the water, and he's a Viking. And is there actually a passable moment? No, it actually isn't. It actually isn't possible in that. That's kind of interesting. And it seems there's gonna be a bit of a fight potentially between him and IIDA. Even though IIDAs are so far, just having dogs on the right side is going to be for Akeno. But I wouldn't be really all that surprised as he's finally using one of the boards that was on the right. If maybe they wanted to go into the water in here at the top as well, which would definitely not be a great idea, because Aramis would be... Well, will be the Lord of the Waters in here, but at the same time, this could be a bit of a luck for IIDA in other way, because since the Viking is right now going to be basically setting everything and putting everything into this water that is closed off, he won't be really all that important for the other waters all across the map. So potentially this could be really looking like not that much of a problem for IIDAs, as it might be, for example, for Arcs. Definitely curious how this is gonna develop. Another player for Arcs is gonna be Stefan, the expert for Arena, playing right now quite a lot different map, Nomad in here. Quite nice gold, quite nice food, everything pretty sweet for him. And he seems to be in basically similar situation to Aramis, also having just a dog into the middle pond in here. Yeah, he's gonna be joined by, apparently that's whom? That's G-Man? Yes, this G-Man. Almost looked like the red color, but I was confused a bit there because there is no red player actually in this game. So that's what I was actually a bit confused in there what's going on, but otherwise this is gonna be quite a little fight between those two. 4. Not really all that many fishes in here. There are some, but it's not really all that great. It's just some shorefish. Not that many deep fish in here, so not really all that great overall. And it seems... What's actually going on in there? Lan, not entirely certain what they're talking about, but we're gonna be seeing a bit later, as he is probably just sending some kind of news to his teammates and what the strategy is going to be for them. This is a home map for Arcs, really highly unusual for them, but well, they probably know what they're doing, so let's see if they really do. In the meantime, that's gonna be... Yep, they are right now going to be flaring each other. It seems like Arcs were actually having the dogs and whatnot, as this is right now looking at the last player for Arcs. It's gonna be Maxi, who is on the right, probably gonna be having water somewhere close by. Yes, he is having dog in here on the right next to the stone mine and air lake on top of that, as otherwise quite a decent amount of pieces as well. Still one standing there right next to the house. And of course, otherwise, interesting scouting right about now by Idefix. Is he gonna be laming the bar? Apparently not. He could be potentially stealing it if he actually... yeah, he is. Right now, I'm not entirely certain, as the board is actually getting bugged, which is a pretty big problem right about now for Idefix. Definitely has to hope that it's not gonna be bugged overall. And is he gonna be surviving? He does have Loom, but still, it's quite a ways to actually get right next to his teammates. He's probably going to be actually using Akeno as basically help. You can see already that villager in there, unfortunately. So that's not really all that great, unless it was Eagle for the opponents. I'm not entirely certain. Let's look at the amount of villagers. 16, 16, 12 for IIDAs, for ARCs 18, 19, 21. So you can already see that ARCs are doing a whole lot better in the early economy as opposed to their IIDA opponents. And well, Idefix, well, he's right about now. I'm fairly certain he's actually right now paying for the mistake of actually having just those two boards in there. They shouldn't have really started all that... Oh man. All that close to each other, and even though he was at the least amount of villages overall, he lost yet another one through the board, so he didn't really receive the help soon enough from Akeno, and unfortunately the board did claim the life of this villager. Well, that definitely didn't help the yellow player. That's gonna be a bit of an advantage further for Arcs, as Max is gonna be the first to advance in the feudal, as Stefan is coming right about now for Loom. And if you're, for example, wondering about some kind of level of the players, for Arcs that's basically 2k, all of them. Even though for Stefan you could be saying that he's 2k plus in Arena, but otherwise on other maps he's not really that good. He could be like... It was true last season, in season 40, that he was considered about 18 to 1900 max on other maps than Arena. But I'm thinking that with all the experience that he has had in the past season and also this season overall, he's already quite going there with the experience, and we should be probably considering him 2k on any map whatsoever. For the opponents, for IIDAs, they are all three about 17 to 1750, closer to 1750. So they are quite capable, and we should be seeing a pretty good game. If Idefix somehow can pick up his game, because so far it's not really been all that great, and maybe he's just drunk again, so don't really know. But yep, this is a problem that you can be facing if you place your TCs quite close to each other at the very start on the map and are not actually having a good spot with plenty of food for yourself and for your teammates as well. Well, this guy from Aken, I was for a moment thinking if maybe that was some kind of opponent. Definitely not. That is interesting right now, build up by G-Man, who is quite far away actually right about now from the common base. Definitely curious. And he's very close to actually Grey. Is he trying to... I don't know what he might be trying to do right about now. I'm really not certain, as they are right now cooperating. Apparently, you can see just gathering food right next to the will of Aramis. Both him, Aramis, and of course G-Man. Without any kind of aggression, but this is probably gonna be changing quite soon, as there is already gonna be attempted wall-in, but it's gonna be quite a bit too late, because G-Man is already rushing a bit on Nomad. That's kinda interesting, but definitely a viable strategy if you know what you're doing, and it seems he's gonna be... I was kinda thinking it might be laming the deer, but apparently not yet. We have heard a stable from Akeno apparently somewhere, as there's of course you're gonna be staying a bit longer. How the village of war is gonna be going with those two militias. They're probably gonna be coming a few more up there, but with the wall right now coming up, it's gonna be one villager dead, but I'm thinking that's gonna be a pretty good trade, because if he can finish with the wall right about now, Aramis is gonna be quite safe from any kind of Drush, and the Drush is gonna be more or less useless, because of course you can see that Aramis is gonna be finishing with the wall on the left as well, and yep, you can see a G-Man is gonna be forced to switch somewhere else. Well, probably just this guy is gonna be the only victim of the early raidings. Otherwise, of course, water economy overall is going quite well for IIDAs on the right side, even though they are gonna be facing the wrath of Maxi quite soon. I'm expecting he's having the rock a bit more to the south once he advances into Castle Age, as castles are hitting for him and Stefan very soon, and G-Man even switching into Men-at-Arms. Oh well, that's interesting. Interesting indeed, but let's see how actually useful it's gonna be for him, because so far we don't see anything all that crucial for him. Just Akeno building the scouts, but he's gonna be probably fairly surprised when he learns that he's gonna be already facing Castle Age units. That's not exactly what he was hoping for, I'm thinking at this point. Anyway, at left we are looking at Stefan, who is just booming as much as he can. Well, he's a Persian, so what else would you expect? Especially since he's basically like the furthest away from his allies and from the opponents as well. And this is kind of interesting right about now from IIDA. Yeah. This is actually pretty good economy for Idefix, as he's making up for the deficit in his villages. He's having like just 21, which is 5 less than the next best, or other next wars. But he's having 17 fishing boats. That's making up for the deficit quite nicely, and it's looking like that he actually should be having quite a good game. Nonetheless, even though he's right now advancing into fuel age at 17 minutes or 18 minutes, which is not really ideal. That was what the chat was all about, I'm thinking. He's probably not gonna be that far behind as maybe you could have thought. And that definitely could be a bit of fighting for him left still in the game. Let's see how this is gonna develop, because of course Akeno is already in the Blues base, who is having a few idols in there. Apparently was fighting something. Yeah, I can see the skeleton hidden in the snow, but the TCs are already coming up across the map, and we are also looking at, of course, the men-at-arms that have been researched with a helpful tower in there. And the deer apparently still not sure where she wants to stand. She's still moving around, and it's almost looking like that actually the tower is taking her spot. She wanted to get there so badly, but yeah, well, he won't be able to. Otherwise, plenty of sheep in there, and plenty of galleys, of course, in here as well, which is, yeah, as we said at the start, completely useless, because there is not a passage actually to the water on the right. And this is actually pretty big luck for IIDAs, or luck, well, it's not their home map, so yeah, let's say luck, as Aramis is gonna be basically just confined to this little water, controlling this part of the map, and that's not gonna be all that important for the next stage. Right now he's finally switching to the left as well, so that he has some kind of access to potentially disrupt the economy of Idefix, but I'm not all that certain they're gonna be finding that soon enough, because, yep, basically would be scouting there at this point. Like, yeah, why? Why would be they scouting in there? Otherwise, already moving forward a bit more into Stefan, it seems like, as Yellow is trying to take the gold with the relic potentially a bit later, as he's also being held by G-Man, as he's quite close by as well. But looking how Stefan is booming quite significantly, even though not as strongly as I would be thinking at this point. He's just at 32 villages. 42 is the best for Maxi. Yeah, well, he's probably gonna be a bit too tough of a nut for IIDA to crack just now. Well, economy, of course, for Maxi is growing quite nicely with the 3 TCs, which is the reason for the high amount of villages right now. And it seems like that we are selling wood and food and buying some extra resources. So it seems like that the economy for IIDAs is not exactly top-notch. They're having some kind of issues in there. So how's it looking in here? A bit of a, of course, fireboat from Maxi, who is trying to basically put his opponents out of the water altogether. Even though he hasn't really gotten all that far away. You can see, though, it's quite enough, because all the deep fish, well, are not gathered from. There are still a few left. So potentially there could be some kind of economy for Akeno and Idefix. But they seem to be basically giving up on it, as they are right about now, concentrating on booming on the land. And quite probably also just trying to raid a bit around and hoping to kill a few villages of the opponents. And empathy, yes, we are playing without Wololo, because of course this is just AoC. Wololo Kingdoms, that's just altogether different game. That's like asking to play Age of Empires 1 and Age of Empires 2, it's just that level of difference. So we cannot really mix that. But we have been asking the players if they would be able to even play in a clan league based on Wololo Kingdoms, and it wasn't really that bad as far as the answers. So yeah, it's definitely in the planning. And it's not really that impossible that we might be seeing this season about the end of this one. I wouldn't really consider it impossible at all. But it's still in the planning, and we'll be seeing just a whole lot longer and later how everything is going to go. Because of course RTS League is a whole lot different from the other tournaments. It takes about 3 months at least to finish, and for that you basically need some kind of reasonable stability of the patches and whatnot, and that's so far not really all that true for Wololo Kingdom. So we're hoping to get some kind of final version or stable version that is gonna be standing for at least half a year or whatnot, so that we can ensure that all the recorded games and especially the players are playing on the same game the whole tournament. That would be a whole lot better than just switching in the middle of the game and such. Well, in here we are looking at Akeno still having a few scouts alive, but unfortunately he's not really having any kind of luck in trying to get at some villages and kill them, because you can see that basically the defenses are quite alright. But already, well, switching into nice, this is gonna be a bit of an issue for Maxi if he cannot finish the castle, which he can. Yep, just about now. Unfortunately, getting a bit too late, and of course, even with the Mangonel in here, which is gonna be helping him breaching through the wall in there. as he's gonna be getting probably into the woodies in there. It's gonna be, of course, quite interesting to see how Maxi deals with this, because he does have the economy. You can see Stefan has scored up at 72 already. As well, unfortunately, the opponents, IIDAs, are at just 30, 35, and 46, but at least IIDFX is not the worst in the game anymore. He's right about now at 35, 5 more than G-Man, and well, G-Man will have right now to catch up with his ally if he wants to somehow still be relevant in the game. Green still raiding, but nothing really all that major at the bottom. As at the top it has been stalled, but of course the attack is gonna be coming through here, exactly as we expected. And there is a bit of a tribute from Aramis into Maxi, and IIDFX into G-Man. Okay, so there's this thing going on. Let's see. Let's see, that's Aramis, into Maxi, and IIDFX into G-Man, exactly as we saw it. And it's a full sling right about now from there. So let's see who's gonna be actually responding better, because it seems like they have reacted both quite correctly. There were less resources for arcs, so IIDFX is ranking and started first, slinging, so that was a very nice reaction by arcs. But of course the Imperial Age already coming up right about now from Maxi, and from Stefan as well. Without the opponents IIDAs even advancing in there, well, G-Man already is in Imperial Age, of course, so sorry about that. Missed that completely. But yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a massacre of the villages of exactly the Slinger. And that's very bad news, because of course, those Eagle Warriors from G-Man definitely will have to help as soon as possible. Yep, they're already coming in, which is gonna be a bit of an issue, of course, for the purple player. But looking how he's right now coming into the horses, and he's not really ready with even the cavaliers right now. He's probably gonna be losing something to conversion, but otherwise he should be quite fine dealing with the early horses in here. Well, so far looking quite alright for G-Man. As looking at Aramis, he's probably not gonna be having all too much of a fight in him. As of course he's slinging. Few archers in there. Those guys have finally breached through the wall, which they have been banging at for the last about 15 minutes or whatnot. As Green is still pushing forward, but he's kind of like in the siege. He's gonna be getting killed in here on the Angonel. Oh well, that wasn't all that great for Maxi. Definitely hope that he could be killing it without losing his own. But still, with all of those units that he's already having ready, it seems that he might be able to defend against his opponent quite fine. Even though Akeno is right now the Persian who is gonna be switching into the horses once he gets potentially into the Imperial Age, which is just not yet. Stefan and Maxi are just gonna be right now hitting. Both of them getting the chain armor. This is gonna be Bardin for Stefan as the Persian for horses, and Mail, of course, for Maxi for the infantry. So that seems like that you might be looking at similar strategies on both sides. You can already see the barracks coming up with are we seeing some, like, I don't know, halberdiers right now clicked in, or elite eagle warriors? Elite eagle. Okay, so that's gonna be elite eagle for Maxi. Cavalier, of course, for Stefan. And in the middle, we are already looking at, of course, the attack from Orange still going on. But he's not really eating all that much into the enemy economy. You can see he just killed a few horses here and there. But through very nice quick walling of Stefan, there is not much else for him to kill. Or nice walling. Yeah, well, not really. It seems like there is... Oh, well, he was actually caught in... Yeah, that's exactly what elevations do to you. Yeah, this is a problem, that sometimes when you are not familiar what elevations actually do to the game's graphics, you might be leaving the hole in there, which is exactly right now what happened for Stefan, and he paid for it quite dearly, as he lost the gold mine in there, and quite a bit of villages on top of that. So this is very good trading for G-Man. Definitely quite dangerous right now for Stefan, as he's losing quite a bit of villages, but at the same time he can kind of afford it, because he is already at 98, so if he loses a few villages here and there, looking at the enemy economy, it's like not really mattering at all. Still having a few fishing boats still left in there, as Blue is trying to push forward a bit, at least in here. Your horse is still left for the green player as he's advancing into Imperial Age, but it's not gonna be even sooner than already Eldorado is gonna be coming in, which is of course resulting right now in the GG's, as they are fully realizing that this is not really gonna be coming their way at all. And yep, with the Eagle Warriors already getting charted right about now by all the horses from Stefan, and also the support landed by Maxi, it doesn't look all that promising. Just look at the economy. 29, 45, 73 for Akeno. It's actually very good. But for the opponents, for quite a bit longer, 97, 88, 83, it just wasn't there. Quite nice fight by IIDAs, and unfortunately, the boom and, of course, the home map choice was much better for Arcs, and they definitely held their ground and burned. Even surprised by this link, they reacted to that very fast indeed, and that's a hallmark of good players recognizing where your opponents are switching into sling, and you need to switch as well if you don't want to be caught off guard. So we are gonna be looking into the post game in here. Maxi is gonna be having the high score because he was having the fastest boom, so that's the reason for that. Otherwise, yeah, just a lot of slinging apparently everywhere. It seems that was Idefix slinging a lot, and Arafix, or rather Aramis even more. And who was then slinging? Idefix? I'm just confused right about now. 1, 2. Aha, they were actually slinging into more players, into Stefan, into Maxi from Aramis, so he was having plenty of resources for them. And Idefix was slinging into also G-Man and Akeno. Alright. Okay, so that makes sense. They were slinging both players in there. Yeah, you can see the high villages in there for Ark. Just a whole different universe than what IIDAs were having. Well, GG.